Prepare the dilution in plastic or Teflon as much as possible. Rinse volumetric flask with 1% nitric acid and keep in nitric acid until used. Protocol in this varies from lab to lab. It depends on regulatory specifications as well. You should follow your lab protocol. In the absence of one, you can follow what I described just now. Do dissolutions in metal-free clean hood. Use high pure reagents and acids. Ammonium hydroxide and nitric acid are relatively clean. Hydrochloric acid contains high impurities. Rinse pump tubing, if you use pump tubing, with high pure acid, about 2%, used in the matrix. In a typical organic chemistry lab, you would be handling chemicals that may emit irritating vapors. This could cause sneezing or coughing, affecting the general cleanliness in your laboratory. One of our products, odor eroder, effectively neutralizes offensive odors and fumes in the lab. It absorbs and chemically transforms chemical odors into harmless compounds that remain trapped within the product. It is highly effective at neutralizing volatile compounds. It is non-toxic and non-contaminating, as well as environmentally safe. When this product becomes spent, it changes its color, and you could easily know that it is time for replacement. I'm sure most of you would be following some of the ideas presented here. I'm hopeful you have learned few more new ideas and techniques to decrease contamination in your analytical lab. All results are based on random sampling of materials. Supporting data is derived from these references as well as our own research. Thank you for attending this presentation. Any questions? We use Teflon bottles for storing our prepared standards. What is the maximum time can you use these bottles? Once again, it depends on the concentration. Teflon bottles, as such, you can use for 6 months, but if you have a solution that contains low level, like 1 ppb, it's better to use it within the 6 months. The reason is when you open it, it could absorb contamination from the environment. Also, when you pour a solution from a Teflon bottle, it produces electronegative charge around the neck. So before you open the bottle, wipe it with a lint-free cloth with a reagent-grade water, and then pour it into whatever you have to use it on. Why is there cadmium in plastics? The plastic manufacturers use something called plasticizers. They have cadmium, antimony, and zinc mostly. These are used in plastics, and that is the reason sometimes cadmium leaches out into the solution. There is another question here. Odor eroder. Do you add it to the target, or is it like an air freshener? The question was, the odor eroder, do you add it to the target or you use it as an air freshener? No, you cannot add it to the target. You have to keep it open in a laboratory, and perhaps it acts like an air freshener. It absorbs the odor from the lab. Any suggestions on the use and cleanliness of disposable micropipette tips? The question was, any suggestions on the use and cleanliness of disposable plastic micropipette tips? This again follows the laboratory practice, good laboratory practice. All these tips cannot be kept on a surface which is contaminated already by some chemicals or other. You have to hold the pipette in such a way that you pick up the plastic tip without touching the tip of the plastic. And as soon as you use it, you just dispose it off straight into whichever container you would like to dispose it. What is the main reason for the degradation of inorganic standard? This is a very big question. It's a general question. The inorganic standard, depending on what element or analyte it contains, sometimes the multi-component in a mix may not be very compatible for a long time. Over a period of time, one or two elements may interact chemically, and that you would see a degradation. And if the concentration is much lower in a ppb level, or that also can lose or pick up contaminants from the environment. Say you have a standard iron with 1 ppb. Because the environment contains lots of iron, your standard after a period of time may not read 1 ppb. It could be 20 ppb. So this is the reason a manufacturer puts an expiration date, because in a lab you cannot expect it to be stored as carefully as we do in our manufacturing areas. Water eroder able to remove the minor acid fume. We have tested it in our inorganic lab when we were studying if it was contaminating or giving a cross-contamination. We found it is more effective in organic lab, and because we used a hood which was removing the acid fumes, we couldn't really know whether the acid fumes were neutralized by this odor eroder or not. The use of bottle top dispensers add contamination. Not really. See, when you close your bottle, initially you close with a gloved hand and thoroughly tighten it. Then the last stage, you either close it or open it with that. I don't think it could impart contamination. What kind of detergents must be used with the pipette washer for best results? The type of detergent that could be used is, non-ionic mix like Alkanox. That's what I remember. There are some available in the catalog, Fisher catalog or a VWR catalog. If you see, they would specify this. What we use is Alkanox.